We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with some new rumors regarding Daniel Bryan's status in WWE, because as most of you are well aware by now, Daniel Bryan's contract with WWE ran up a couple of weeks ago, and he is now a free agent who could theoretically sign with any wrestling promotion he chooses. And it has now been revealed that Daniel Bryan does not even have a non-compete clause with WWE, which basically means that Daniel Bryan can sign with another wrestling organization whenever suits him. However, it appears as though the former WWE World Champion could be considering an entirely different option altogether, as there have been some new rumors going around that Daniel Bryan is contemplating retiring from wrestling and instead accepting a deal with WWE that would see Daniel Bryan work for the company as a member of the creative team and other backstage roles in WWE. Apparently, the main thing Daniel Bryan does not want to do is to work full-time, as Bryan wants to be able to have more free time to spend with his family and for other aspirations. Clearly, Daniel Bryan knows that his time as an in-ring competitor is nearing its end, and it would be hard to fault Daniel Bryan for potentially choosing to stay with WWE and take a backstage role, as the company reportedly want to keep Daniel Bryan around regardless of whether he wants to wrestle or work backstage. And Vince McMahon is reportedly very willing to offer Daniel Bryan a very lucrative contract regardless. So let us know down in the comment section below if you feel Daniel Bryan should decide to stay in WWE and work part-time in a backstage capacity, or should Daniel try to wrestle a couple more years in another promotion like AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, or Impact Wrestling. Without question, when fans think of aspects or storylines of WWE that have been the most interesting or intriguing in this new era, there is little doubt that The Fiend Bray Wyatt's name would be brought up in that conversation, as The Fiend Bray Wyatt is undoubtedly one of the most interesting and must-see aspects of WWE over the past couple of years. And without The Fiend, WWE would certainly be less exciting, especially on the Raw brand. However, while Bray Wyatt has proven time and time again that he is an exceptional talent not only when it comes to his in-ring abilities, but his storytelling and continuously interesting characters, Bray Wyatt has somehow always been given poor treatment by WWE when it comes to his booking and overall presentation. And despite the fact that the Fiend character is one of the most popular things in WWE today, the company have still managed to underutilize and give terrible booking and direction for the Fiend. And this is something that former WWE writer Vince Russo has mentioned in a recent interview, with Russo basically making it clear that WWE have brought the Fiend's character down with their lackluster booking and writing, and that it's really sad someone as talented as Bray Wyatt, who has an amazing gimmick and persona as the Fiend, is still being misused. And this basically showcases an overall lack of ability on the WWE's creative team in a greater sense, because if they cannot book a talented superstar like The Fiend Bray Wyatt to get over and remain relevant, there's little hope for most other superstars currently in WWE on the main roster. A lot of fans do believe that Bray Wyatt should have complete control, or at least most of the control over his character and the direction of it, with most feeling like Bray Wyatt is the kind of talent that does not need to be micromanaged by WWE, especially when that micromanaging is clearly detrimental to Bray's character as The Fiend. Let us know if you guys agree with Vince Russo that WWE's possible overbooking and lackluster storytelling when it comes to The Fiend Bray Wyatt has brought down The Fiend's overall stock in WWE, and that it highlights a bigger problem about WWE's creative team. Or do you think that the WWE have done a great job at booking The Fiend Bray Wyatt? As many of you are likely aware, WWE have been preparing a new character and persona for Aleister Black over on Friday Night SmackDown in recent weeks, with Aleister appearing in a few special Aleister Black's Tales of the Dark Father segments. However, many fans noticed that Aleister Black was missing from the most recent special throwback edition of SmackDown, and it has caused there to be some concern as to why Aleister did not appear in a segment this past week on SmackDown. And according to a new backstage report, the reason for Aleister Black not appearing on this past week's throwback SmackDown episode is because of time constraints, although the rumor also mentions that Vince McMahon may already be growing tired of Aleister Black's new character, and doesn't feel that it has as much potential as he originally imagined, which is definitely concerning news as there is a chance that Aleister Black's new push could be over before it started. Hopefully the whole time constraint reason is the main culprit for Aleister Black not appearing on SmackDown last week, and that he shows up this week on the blue brand, because there's no doubt that Aleister Black's new gimmick and persona or repackaging has a lot of potential if done right by WWE. While The Miz may seem a bit full of himself and only worrying about his own success in WWE, The Miz recently mentioned in an interview that he feels his current tag team partner John Morrison, who returned to WWE back in early 2020, is more than ready to be a main event world title contender in WWE as we speak. When John Morrison had returned to WWE last year, there was a lot of hope from fans that Morrison would be featured in the WWE or Universal Championship scene, because many feel like John Morrison has always had the abilities and talent to be a top star and was just never given the proper chance to succeed, and The Miz apparently feels the same way. While John Morrison has been tag teaming with The Miz since his comeback in WWE, The Miz made it clear that timing is everything, and he fully expects John Morrison will be in the main event title scene in the near future. And by all means, this has caused there to be speculation that the partnership and alliance of John Morrison and The Miz could be nearing its end, and that John Morrison will finally be embarking on a solo run on Monday Night Raw, and possibly get a big push into WWE title contention. And by all means, there's no doubt that John Morrison deserves a big push and would fit in perfectly at the top of the card. Let us know if you guys think The Miz is right and that John Morrison has everything it takes to be a main event player in WWE, or do you feel that Morrison is better fit in either the tag team division alongside The Miz, or if John Morrison did part ways with The Miz, would he be better off featured in the mid-card United States title scene? We now have our main story featured in this video, and it is regarding the breaking new rumors and speculation that the current Universal Champion Roman Reigns is going to be debuting and unveiling a monstrous new Samoan Shield faction in WWE on Friday Night SmackDown in the coming weeks this year in 2021. As many of you are likely aware, ever since Roman Reigns turned heel last year following his return at SummerSlam 2020, rumors have went around about WWE planning a new rendition of the Shield for Roman Reigns on SmackDown, and while it did seem likely to happen once Jey Uso aligned with Roman Reigns, the one thing missing was Jimmy Uso, who has been absent from WWE TV for months on end. But following last week's edition of SmackDown, which featured the return of Jimmy Uso, a new backstage rumor has revealed that WWE and Vince McMahon are planning for the tribal chief and head of the table Roman Reigns to debut a shocking new Samoan Shield faction with the Usos once Jimmy Uso falls in line, with it likely that the three superstars will begin rocking more traditional Samoan attire to match their new Samoan Dynasty Shield faction.